Hi, my name is Rachel Williams, and I am a representative for the University of Kentucky. And today I'm going to talk about financing your studies in U.S. universities. So I'm going to talk about the kinds of scholarships you'll see available to you and what you need to do to prepare yourself to apply for these opportunities. So I am going to start off with a little bit of information about University of Kentucky. We are a top 100 public research university in the United States, and we are located in Lexington, Kentucky, which is actually the #3 safest metro city in the US. So we are a very safe environment for students on our residential campus. We have over 200 academic majors and programs. Some of our most popular ones include our College of Engineering, where we have majors like computer science, computer engineering, we have the College of Business, our healthcare professions. So if you're interested in going into pre-medicine, pre-pharmacy, nursing, we have excellent majors in those fields. And architecture is another one of our standout programs that's very popular with our students. We are very proud that we gave over $5 million in scholarship money to new international undergraduate students in fall of 2020. So we have multiple scholarship programs for international students, both first-year freshmen and transfer students. So we have a lot of opportunities for scholarships at University of Kentucky. So I am going to get right into the main topic. I know that's why you are here and listening to this. And I'm going to start off with a couple of common mistakes made by international students. So this is from an article that was in the US News and World Report, where they interviewed Christine Chu, who's the former assistant director of undergraduate admissions at both Yale and Georgetown. So she says that the top 2 mistakes made by international students are not researching college scholarships or grants that are specific to international students, and only applying to well-known US colleges and universities. So the US has hundreds of colleges and universities. There are a couple of big brand names, of course, that everyone has heard of, but there are many more that you haven't heard of. And just because you haven't heard of them does not mean they are not excellent universities and does not mean they are not right from you. So really educating yourself about the kinds of opportunities available to you, both in terms of the universities and the scholarship programs that they have, these are really the key elements in your college search in the United States. So because I am talking today about funding your studies in the US, I want to start off by explaining 2 terms that you will see a lot in regards to financial aid at US universities: need-based financial aid versus merit-based financial aid. So need-based financial aid is dependent on your family income. You would be asked to show proof of finances, and this would determine how much financial aid you would receive. This is actually pretty rare for international students in the United States. That's simply because most need-based aid in the US is given in the form of government grants, and these are only available to American citizens. So there are some universities who do have need-based aid for international students. They do exist, but much less commonly. This is much more rare for international students. The type of scholarship that you will most likely be eligible for are merit-based. So these are scholarships. They are competitive scholarships. They have different criteria depending on the scholarship and the school, and your family's economic situation is not part of the consideration. So they're considering you on your merit. Do you meet the criteria for this scholarship? Not how much do you need this scholarship financially. So because merit-based scholarships are the type of financial aid most available to international students, this is what I'm going to spend my presentation today talking about the different kinds of scholarships that are available and a little bit about how you might find the application process. So most scholarships do have some common features. They are competitive. You have to apply for them. In most cases, you are not automatically considered. There are specific criteria or qualities that you must meet to get this scholarship. And as I said, for most, you are not automatically considered. And you need to do the research. You need to be the one who figures out which scholarships exist and which you are eligible for. So I am going to go through and I am going to talk about the different kinds of scholarships that you might commonly run into at American universities. So the first kind, the major kind, the kind that you see most of all, and you will probably be most familiar with, are academic scholarships. So these are scholarships that are dependent on your high school record and your standardized test scores. Now, for standardized test scores, obviously that's changed a little bit this year. You know, US universities realize that all students, and especially international students, do not have access to standardized testing right now in the way they usually do. So most universities have gone test optional. Definitely ask. Okay, this is something to be aware of. You might not be required to submit these standardized test scores. And I would say right now, it's pretty likely that you would not be required to do so. These academic scholarships can be general, and they can also be specific to certain majors or programs. For example, at University of Kentucky, we have the Bluegrass Academic Scholarship, which is open to all incoming students and is awarded based on your GPA and normal year standardized test scores if you choose to submit them. And then we have the College of Engineering's first year scholarship program. So this is specific to students who will be in the College of Engineering. So general scholarships, but then also some are specific to certain majors or programs. So again, your high school record, your GPA, and your standardized testing scores are the most important elements in academic scholarships. Also be aware that, of course, there are first-year scholarship opportunities, the kind of scholarships that you would be applying for when you apply for admissions at US universities. But then after you start at the university, there will be scholarship opportunities for continuing students as well. So these might be available to apply for after you complete one semester or 1 year within a certain major or program or activity that you do. So this is simply something to look out for, to keep an eye out for after you're already at the universities, that you might have the chance to increase your scholarship load. Athletic scholarships are also common at US universities. So these are to be, if you are a standout athlete, to be a part of an athletic team or program. Because the regulations with athletic scholarships are very strict, most of your communication, all of your communication really, is going to come through with the coaching staff. So those are the people who will be communicating with you about the athletic scholarships. So if I have a student who contacts me, for example, and says, you know, I'm a standout on my swim team, I've won all these awards, I have won all these competitions, and I want to be considered for an athletic scholarship on your swim team. I cannot give any specific information on that. My role here is to connect this student with the swimming team coaching staff. And that's it. Any other communication will be directly with the student and the staff for that particular team. Not all universities have athletic scholarships, so that is something to ask about if you think that you qualify for that. Other kinds of scholarships available. Diversity scholarships are also a kind of very common scholarship that you will see at a lot of universities. We all want to have diverse institutions. We want a diverse group of students. We want a diversity of nationalities, a diversity of ethnic backgrounds, diversity of gender, diversity of life experience, diversity of economic situation. And so universities are doing their best to really recruit students from a number of different backgrounds. And one of the ways we do this is through our scholarship opportunities. Diversity scholarships will usually have some form of an application with a short essay where you would want to talk about your experiences with diversity, your commitment to diversity, and being part of a diverse community. But this is a very common kind of scholarship. It's a scholarship you are going to see at most universities. It's something to be on the lookout for and to ask questions about. Service-based scholarships, these are based on your record of being a volunteer and being involved. So of course, any application for these scholarships, you would want to lean heavily on your volunteer experience, on your experience being involved as a school leader or participant in a lot of clubs and activities. And then the last kind of major scholarship program that I'll mention that exists at a lot of universities is what I'm calling an ambassador program. I'm calling it that because that's what we call the ambassador program at my university. Other universities will have a different name for it, but a similar type of program. So when you are the recipient of an ambassador scholarship, you are a representative of international students for your country or region. You're kind of part of the international recruitment team. Just to give you an example of what you might be asked to do, our international ambassadors who received our international ambassador scholarships, they have profiles on our website where prospective students can write and ask them questions. They will write emails to prospective students. Sometimes they participate in webinars. So students from Vietnam, for example, can learn about University of Kentucky from the perspective of a current Vietnamese student here. So the duties are not hard, but they do require, interacting with a lot of different people. I will say, I think ambassador programs are a really excellent scholarship opportunity to look out for. Obviously, of course, because they give you a scholarship and they help you attend university. But in addition to that, when you receive an ambassador scholarship, you are in a leadership role. You're in a role of responsibility. And so this is an excellent opportunity to have something to talk about on your resume or CV when you're applying for jobs or you're applying for graduate school. So not only is it a scholarship program, it's also really a leadership opportunity to definitely take advantage of. So these are the main types of scholarships that you should look out for. The application process. So the application process is going to vary from scholarship to scholarship and university to university. But here are a few elements that may be necessary. First, a letter of recommendation might be required. Very frequently, there will be an essay or a personal statement. Now, of course, for your university admissions, you give your personal statement, your general one, but scholarships might ask for something more specific. They might ask for an essay where you want to address certain specific qualities. How can you be a student leader? How would you contribute to diversity at our university? How would your record of volunteerism carry over to our university, for example? So the essay or personal statement for a scholarship application will be more specific than for the application for the university in general. As they might ask for standardized test scores, the SAT or ACT, though this year that's very unlikely, I will say. Most scholarship programs at University of Kentucky, we are test optional, for example. And there might be an interview as part of this process. Not a long interview, probably not 30 minutes or an hour, but anywhere from a 5 to 15-minute Zoom interview might be a part of the application process for any of these scholarships. Keep in mind that deadlines may be different than university admissions deadlines. The scholarships might have earlier deadlines. So you definitely want to keep all of these straight. If you are not sure when any deadlines are, ask. Don't just, exist in doubt and hope you submit it in time. Also be aware of the terms of deadlines versus priority deadlines. A deadline is hard and fast. You have to submit it by this date. If you submit it after this date, we won't even look at. Priority deadline means students who submit it by this date have first priority. We'll look at their applications first. And then if we still have scholarship money left over, then we will look at people who submitted after the priority deadline. So you should always treat a priority deadline as if it is a hard and fast deadline. There is no guarantee you will be considered if you submit after a priority deadline. General application advice. Read all instructions carefully. The two most terrible reasons to get rejected for a scholarship are 1, because you missed a deadline, or 2, you didn't follow instructions and did something wrong in the application process. Read instructions carefully. Make sure that you are following them carefully. Do not ever assume a late application will be considered. We have so many scholarship applications, of course. This is something students are eager for. So you cannot assume that if you apply late, you will still be considered. If you have a question, ask. If you have been in contact with someone from that university, someone like me, ask. If you have not been in contact with someone from that university, go on their website, find a name, send an email. If they're not the right person, they will make sure that you get to the right person. For your letters of recommendation, make sure that your recommenders know what the letter is for, right? They know why they're writing this letter. And really think about when you are writing your essay or your statement of purpose, if that is required, are there any specific skills or qualities that need to be addressed? Do I need to talk about my experiences in certain clubs or academic activities, how I can serve as a student leader, how I can be an ambassador? Really think if you do need to address any specific skills or qualities to show that you are the right person to receive this scholarship. That is it from me. I do encourage you to get in touch with me by one of these means if you are interested in learning more about the University of Kentucky, or if you would like more information about scholarships in general. I am more than happy to answer any kind of questions. If you have questions about scholarships, questions about the application process in general, don't hesitate to get in touch. I am always happy to hear from you. So here's my contact information, our website at University of Kentucky, as well as our YouTube channel, our WhatsApp and WeChat groups, and our Facebook groups. But thank you so much for the opportunity, for giving me this opportunity to talk to you and to give you a little bit more information about the scholarship process at U.S. universities. I really do hope that this was helpful for you and encourages you in the process of getting out there, learning more about the scholarships that are available to you, and giving you some knowledge that will help you in that application process. Thank you.